Welcome into the Spiritual Evolution podcast. Today, I wanted to just say a few words regarding Rudolf Steiner. Um, Tomorrow, which is Sunday, March 30th at 10 a.m., will be the 100th anniversary of Rudolf Steiner's passing into the spiritual world and his death. He died in 1925 on March 30th. And 100 years is a very important marker. And so I just wanted to say a few things and just kind of what Steiner means to me and what he wanted us to do. And I'm also going to make a few quotes. Actually, I'm going to start with the calendar of the soul for this week. So I'll start with that, and then I'll end with a quote from a lecture called Thomism in the Present Day. I feel the strength of cosmic being, so speaks clarity of thought, recalling its own spirit's growth in the dark nights of the world, and bending its inward rays of hope toward the dawning cosmic day. Truly one of my favorite from the calendar of the soul. And I think if Steiner were here today, he would say, please study spiritual science, fight for the spirit, because that is what he did. Steiner's life was cut short, some people say, but I think he gave so much to the world. He fought and he struggled so hard for the mystery wisdom that now we all have the capability to know. And in that way, in some senses, he sacrificed his physical body in order to gain these insights over and over again, especially considering how high of an initiate Steiner was. In the modern era, it's much more difficult to fully incarnate those abilities. But he did it. And in some ways, in many ways, we look up to him as someone who did it. He did it. And that's what we can celebrate. That nothing can change that. What he did will live on forever. But who was Rudolf Steiner? To me, he was one of the more significant individuals in world history. Not only what he brought to life through Waldorf education, biodynamic farming, the Christian community church, eurythmy, art, medicine, which all still live on today, but mainly what he gave was the revelation of spiritual science. The third great revelation given by the spiritual world and the spiritual guides of humanity. First revelation was given to Moses, the second was given to John, and the third was given to Steiner. And the significance of Steiner's revelation through anthroposophy and spiritual science has yet to gain the traction that Steiner believed was necessary for the earth to complete its mission. Or maybe it is or has gained enough ground. How are we to judge? We don't really know. It could be that, more people than we realize are studying spiritual science with reverence and in full heart and soul. But Steiner urged us in the majority of his lectures how important spiritual science was, to be able to assimilate it into our lives, to apply it to the happenings in the world, to be awake, to be fully conscious of what is happening in the world. And today, much is happening that maybe if Steiner were here, he could elaborate, but he's not. He's in the spiritual world. He can guide us, but in reality, and I think he would agree, we have to put in the work. We have to fulfill our responsibilities in our life. We have to research deeply into spiritual science, and we can't have bias regarding the happenings of today. We have to try to understand them on a spiritual level. And we are in a fight, and we are in a battle. Make no mistake, we are active participants with Christ in the battle for earth against our demonic powers. Not to avoid them, not to criticize them, not to be negative about them, but to fight in total equanimity of soul and through peaceful measures. By transforming ourselves, we can transform the world. And we know that literally to be true because of what Steiner brought to us and taught us. And now I'm going to read a quick passage about Christianity and about Thomas Aquinas in the modern day, which is spiritual science. And I highly recommend the lecture series, The Redemption of Thinking. 3 lectures given in 1920. And this is towards the end of the last lecture. We must consider anew, in a completely factual way, the spiritual psychic content of man, the thought world which receives into itself the transforming Christ principle, in order that through the Christ in us, that is, in our thought world, we may discover again the spiritual world. Are we to rest content with leaving our thought world alone at the level to which the fall of man has brought it? Shall man's thought world have no part in human redemption? In the 13th century, no place could be found in the thought world for the principle of Christian redemption, and therefore the thought world was regarded as quite apart from the world of revelation. The future advance of mankind will be realized by discovering the principle of redemption, not only for the outer world, but for human reason. The unredeemed human reason could never raise itself into the spiritual world. It is only the redeemed human reason which possesses the true relationship to the Christ that can win its way into the world of spirit. To enter the kingdom of the Spirit in this way is the Christianity of the 20th century. But it must be Christianity strong enough to penetrate to the very core of human thinking and human soul experience. This is not pantheism, nor any of those things on the score of which spiritual science is calumniated. It is genuine Christianity. You can see this from the study of the philosophy of Thomas Aquinas, even if in certain instances it has been necessary to digress into the realm of the abstract. with what seriousness spiritual science is concerned with the problems of the West and how it will always take its stand on the ground of the present age and on no other, whatever attacks may be brought against it. These lectures have been given in order to demonstrate that one of the peaks of European spiritual evolution is manifest in the scholasticism of the 13th century, and that this present age has every reason to study this period and will discover that there is an endless amount to be learned from it. This is especially so in what we must call, in the full sense of the words, the deepening of our thought life, so that we may completely abandon nominalism and experience the permeation of our thought life by Christ. That will be a Christianity which will lead us to that spirit being from whom after all man must have derived his being. For if man is quite honest and sincere with himself, nothing else can satisfy him but the consciousness of his own spiritual origin. Thank you. God bless. Have a great day.